I know it's a bit of a moving target. You're learning more as you go along. You're having more discussions with the government of Canada on this target. But can you give us a sense of how this does impact farmers?
Sure. So I think the bottom line and what we've really been trying to talk to the government about is we can't look at this emissions reduction in a vacuum. So it can't just be about emissions reduction. We have to look at how that affects yields and productivity of our agricultural sector. And that was our real concern and where we did a bit of a study last year to look at what exactly could be in a worst case scenario the impact on farm productivity if we took an approach similar to what Europe has done, where they're really requiring reductions in the use of fertilizer. Our government has now come out and said there is no intent to put a cap on fertilizer use, and they want to ensure that farmers can continue to increase their yields. And so that's very positive. But now we are stuck with a bit of a dichotomy between this target and the need to ensure that yields continue to increase and Canada can continue to contribute to maintaining the global food supply and food security. So we're at a stage now where it's really, we're trying to look at what can we achieve realistically between now and 2030 while maintaining and increasing farmer yields, because I think that's where the balance has to be struck, because Canada is such a huge player when it comes to agriculture exports, and food security globally.
Yeah, so help me and my audience walk us through this a little bit. If you can still use the same amount of fertilizer, uh, you know, but they want a reduction of 30% in the emissions, is it a question of technology? Is there better fertilizer that way, or how does it work so that you don't affect crop yields?
That's a great question. And so you need fertilizer in order to grow the crops at the sorts of volumes that we need. The demand on farmers is just increasing as population growth increases. Farmers are going to have to grow even more. So there's a few things that I think will get us towards emissions reductions. So reducing the amount of emissions from fertilizer use, probably not to the 30% level, but towards that. One of them is just implementing best management practices on farm. So there's been a program out there for over a decade called the 4Rs, and it really looks at how fertilizer can be most efficiently used in order to both increase farmer yields, but also to reduce emissions. But also, as part of that, there are new fertilizers coming on the market. There's a lot of innovation in this space, and there's new fertilizers that help reduce the emissions from the use of nitrogen fertilizer. So I think both those things, the use of these best management practices to the highest level, as well as new technologies and new fertilizers, are going to get us at least partway to that target, and certainly to a point where I think it's still a very, very good news story. I think what a lot of folks don't understand is Canadian farmers are already using fertilizer in some of the most sustainable ways. We are better than most other countries in our nitrogen use efficiency. So that's something we should be proud of and we should celebrate and look at how we can move a little farther, but not so far that we start to affect yields.
Yeah, so does it sound that you're fairly optimistic you can work with the sector to achieve at least part of the goal?
Absolutely, and we're conducting. We're just finalizing another study to look at exactly how far we think we can go. I think we can still make some significant progress on emissions reductions. As I said, I don't think we can get to the 30%, but if that's really kind of a north star and directional, then we're on the right track.
Right.
And I think there's still work to be done, but it has to involve engagement with the farmers.